Well, howdy YouTube gamers, and as you can see, our goat Silvermont decided to make another video on PvP. If you do not remember, or maybe if you forgot, I actually made not even one but two reacts to his previous video about Elden Ring PvP. There is one, there is also a second. Things that we reacted to, they were pretty bad, all things considered. Previous video was bad, this one maybe it's gonna be better, so let's just watch it.
Hey there, my name is Alex, I'm the Silvermont, and in this video we're going to be talking about FromSoft's PvP situation.
Okay.
Again.
A
few weeks back, I put out a video talking about my perceived issues with FromSoft's PvP. I wasn't really expecting too much discussion on the matter, frankly. I hoped for it, but I didn't anticipate it. By the way, people had a lot to say, and I feel like it warranted a follow-up video to specifically discuss a very closely related topic. How can the PvP be improved? Of course, Duskblood still isn't out. In fact, we don't know anything more now than we did when I made that video, and I actually made that video a while ago and then just released it recently. It's very possible that game, Duskbloods, will make some big changes that might bleed over to future titles, which is often how FromSoft do it. We never got a Bloodborne 2, but aspects of Bloodborne bled into the future games. For example, same with Shadows Die Twice, and so on.
This gameplay in the background is truly freaking amazing, dude. It is like elaborative joke, I guess, isn't it?
And Duskbloods, of course, is the Nintendo exclusive PvPvE focused title, with an emphasis on PvP compared to the other games that FromSoft have made recently. To briefly touch on the last video, the comments from you guys can largely be divided into three camps, if I generalize a bit. But loosely speaking, the feedback came in three forms. 1. People who do not wish to engage in PvP in any way, shape, or form. People who find invasions entirely disagreeable would rather play these games offline completely. And while some people were talking about the co-op, most of this group would rather treat these games as a wholly offline experience. The second group of people either enjoy or have enjoyed PvP in the past, with the overwhelming consensus amidst these comments, by the way, not the whole community, just so that's clear, because people really like putting words into my mouth, but the consensus there was that there just isn't anything quite like it. They acknowledge the problems, and they find it frustrating at times, but they also realize there is nothing quite like the invasion mechanic in other games. There's a lot of PvP games around, but Souls offers something unique, an experience they can't get elsewhere. And as mentioned, most of these people acknowledge the flaws that these games have, whether they are a newbie or a veteran bee. The third group, the final group, are the people who are taking PvP so seriously that any slight, perceived or otherwise, against it sends them up the wall in a fit of rage, launching personal attacks against people who dare offer up the very extreme criticisms that I had, such as when I claimed that they haven't really been doing anything to evolve PvP in these games in the last 10 years, and have in fact removed features.
Okay, I see what's going on here. So this guy is just straight up butthurt that tryhards from the community just shot on his previous video for being misinformative and pretty much just dumb. The guy right now builds a stronghold around himself, just saying that, oh, it's like these guys taking PvP too seriously and they are fucking like bad guys here. But in reality, it's just like previous video just had like very bad takes. It's really as simple as that. Sometimes everyone have a bad take. Like the question is if you are mature enough to kind of admit that you made a mistake in your judgment.
That was met with a lot of vitriol and counters such as, but you can jump now. That is correct, you can jump in Elden Ring. So I must admit, I was wrong. They have added very important features to evolve PvP, such as being able to jump. And because I was wrong, I will be momentarily launching myself into the sun.
God fucking damn it. So, just in case, if anyone ever wonders, this gamer makes it sound as if initial criticism, how the YouTube gamer, would be about him just like saying that, hey, PvP bad and everyone else, no, PvP good, you are stupid. No, those were his takes. Look at this. Like, the guy being like, oh, PvP shouldn't be taken seriously because you have like esport titles with millions of dollars in the prize pool, and Souls do not have that much money in the prize pool. The guy also said that he put hundreds of hours into the PvP in the older games, and like he knew all the tricks and stuff, yeah? Well, let's continue with current Silvermont's video. Unfortunately, from that, what we are hearing, the approach of his is apparently that like people that disagreed with him and pointed out that he was wrong about particular things he said in the initial videos are going to be immediately dismissed because he just throws them into the category of the personal attacks. So like, hey, that's a tryhard community being mad because I said something bad about their favorite thing, when in reality there is probably no other community that shits at Elden Ring PvP more than tryhards. Because tryhards are very well aware of the issues of the PvP. It's just that it's usually informed opinion.
But let's finish this video first. Most of the feedback from this thankfully small group of people was, you just suck at PvP, or you don't understand the fundamentals, or and this
well, both are true.
sort of word up a few times, do more research.
Oh, that one, dude, you are so incredibly uninformed individual. It's actually embarrassing how little you actually know about the community, about like the way how like community approach the game, about like, let's say, like a tournaments, about like a things that, well, would require a minimal amount of research, but you are not even actually doing even that, and yet you are making a video essay about PvP.
Yeah, do more research. Only those who have put in 10,000 hours into Elden Ring are allowed to criticize it. In short, they relied on three things in their arguments: ad hominem, no true Scotsman fallacy, and nothing else.
Fantastic. You dropped a beautiful like word salad again, but realistically, just none of that actually happened. It's just people focused on your arguments that you brought in your initial video, and they simply disagreed with it. Because, truth being, arguments that you pointed out in this video over here were god fucking awful. Like, your arguments were like, oh, PvP is laggy, or like PvP is just not that fun because tryhards like doing like tryhard things, yeah? And like they play with the optimal builds and what's not, yeah? It's just like cringe argumentation that doesn't make any sense in the first place.
Thankfully though, as mentioned, this was a minority, a very sparse few amidst a sea of reasonable people who, even if they disagreed with me, they were able to present their arguments like adults. But it's also the easiest...
Guys, just in case. So here is a message of a guy called Grati. In kind of laughable way, bounce back at Silvermont for just having shit takes. And just explaining why, like, well, people do not really take his opinion seriously. And response of Silvermont, cringe. I don't know about that one, my dude.
Group to address, so we'll do that first to get out of the way. Now, allow me to demonstrate for you the depth of my knowledge when it comes to PvP mechanics. Indeed, according to these people, I propped myself up as a PvP expert. Now, I don't remember ever saying that, and I in fact rewatched the video to see, and you know it's funny because I never actually did say in that video that I was a PvP expert.
Literally, not in the video, but in the comment section we have actually shown it, yeah? Bro says that I put in hundreds of hours into PvP in the older games. I knew all the tricks, mechanics and fundamentals. That's what he says. You don't have to call yourself directly an PvP expert to make it sound like you are fucking PvP expert. And this guy is just like being upset about my thumbnail. It's not to be taken literally. In fact, Silvermont came to my video and started crying about it. You can actually see like his comment over here. Do you not find it shameless to put words into someone's mouth to farm content? I never claimed to be PvP expert. Someone said that, yes, we all know you are not. And yep, if you want, I can call the next video more accurately and just make a thumbnail that's going to say that you have no idea what you are talking about. No problem. Chloe stretching? Yes, Chloe is stretching. She's currently exercising and she's stretching, so that was the sound of 2 minutes of stretching straight, yeah? Alright, let's continue.
The expert, but claims in YouTube comments must be true, so factually I am now a PvP expert. I played a very, very important part in the formation of that game's fundamental PvP meta, one that nobody has mastered or even discovered. Ergo, feeble cursed one, look upon my secret Dark Souls 2 movement tech.
This is like probably one of the worst jokes ever fucking made. And in his initial video, how it was called, I actually need to find it. He used like certain phrasing in his initial video.
PvP in Dark Souls isn't really all that skill based. Even at the highest levels, you know, they go, oh, look at my movement tech, so I'm doing the skibbity shuffle or whatever, and it's like, not really.
Skibbity shuffle.
Really, man, people put a lot more stock into it than is reasonable.
So like, I guess this is a joke about that. Wow, hilarious. We still are continuing with that. Like, can we cut it off, please?
We call this the Silvermont Skedaddle. Movement tech such as this enhances your abilities in PvP by at least
It doesn't.
500%. So make sure you study it, alright? And with
Well, the problem is it doesn't. Like, it actually, like, you don't have animation blending. Honestly, if Dark Souls 2 had animation blending, like Elden Ring, then actually, it could legitimately be, like, somewhat of a way to hide the attack, but no, it doesn't.
that out of the way and my position as PvP master and god established, let's move on to the
I mean, you established yourself as a clown, if anything. Congratulations, well played.
other two groups, as those are the ones actually worth discussing.
Aha. So, listen, it's as simple as that. You do not agree with the guy, you actually directly tell him that he is wrong, and because of that, you are not worth discussing. Like, there is no point to talk to you, because, like, this guy is going to put you into category of the guy that actually just does the personal attack against him, because he dared to say something mean about your favorite thing, that is PvP, which is hilarious. Like, there is, yet again, no other group of players that shits more at PvP than tryhards. It means that you really must have fucked up your argumentation and like the logic behind your arguments. It must mean that whatever you said is really fucking bad. Because generally, like, you know, PvP pairs, especially dedicated ones, are the first one to shit at Elden Ring PvP. Another stretch sound. Another one. Żyjesz, kochanie? What was that? More stretching.
First up, if you've forgotten, the group of people who do not want PvP. Invasions have been a staple of this franchise, going back to the beginning, and I do not fundamentally agree they should be removed. In their current state, I think they are miserable, but obviously a lot of people still enjoy them. I do not enjoy them, you might enjoy them, you are allowed to enjoy them.
Okay, but why they are miserable? What is your argumentation for them being miserable? Like, that's the point. Like, this guy is incapable of forming an argument. Anyone can say this type of the bullshit fucking statement and just eventually get a little bit of praise from, like, I don't know, brain-dead part of the community that cannot really form their fucking proper opinions anyway. Someone that genuinely doesn't like PvP are going to listen to this type of bullshit yap and gonna be like, yeah, you're right. Because instead of listening to actual arguments, they are going to attach their own argumentation. That usually is very bad as well, because, let's be honest, the vast majority of people that dislike PvP are just like pretty fucking dogshit at it, and they are like, usually their opinion is extremely uninformed. And let's make it clear, it's okay to be like uninformed at PvP, you might just dislike it because you dislike it, yeah? But like, wanting something to be removed just because you dislike it is pretty fucking stupid. So yeah, let's continue.
I'm not sure why people think I'm trying to stop people from enjoying them, but it is a unique part of these games, and it is a...
No one fucking thinks that you want people to stop like enjoying them and what's not. People just call you out for your shit argumentation and just fucking terrible takes.
Draw for some people. See, Elden Ring is now a huge franchise. Before that, Souls was relatively niche in terms of sales, but now, no, it's in the AAA space. Tens of millions of copies sold. You're gonna attract all sorts of players, including those who just want to experience the world, or the story, or whatever. Now, to some extent, I'm not going to judge you however you want to play these games. If you want to play it solely just to walk around the world, Okay, that's fine. If you want to play it solely for the PvP, that's fine. I do find that a bit strange from my perspective, but you're allowed to do it. I'm not...
But like, people don't do that. Even people that are solely focused on PvP, like this is their main thing, did at least one playthrough. That's not how it works. It's just PvP is a post-game activity. You finish the game and then you engaging into infinite gameplay loop. It's just like the simple like fact that PvP gives you opportunity, and especially invasions, gives you opportunity to experience this game infinitely, because no two invasions are going to be the same. I just want to point out that in case if after, like, once you are going to see this video on YouTube and this video is not like a 1 hour and 30 minutes long, then be aware that I cut out a lot of this yap, because holy fuck, I am really impressed by the amount of unnecessary information in vast majority of things that this guy speaks about.
Someone raised an interesting point in the comments that applies here. Whilst not always the case, many invasions are insanely lopsided, with the host often being a new player or one without a PvP focused build, whereas the invader is generally, not always, optimized specifically for killing other players. Again, this is not 100% of cases, but it's a fair generalization to make. Inherently, invasions are...
And that's why hosts have double the amount of the heals, for an example. That's why they have possibility to use rune arcs when invaders cannot. That's why you have these limitations. Don't get it twisted, like a person that getting invaded that is also prepared for the PvP is always going to have advantage. You not being prepared for an invader when you're engaging into activity that is going to guarantee you that you are going to be invaded is fucking stupid. It's on you. As simple as that. Let's continue.
Fair generalization. Notice I said invasions are not fair. I didn't say invasions are bad. They are unfair. They are chaotic. And let's be real, they probably should be. The notion of bowing to an invader and invading and bowing to a host is, to some extent, I like the sense of honor and fairness that people are trying to...
I mean, what? Like, it's not expected, what the fuck? Like, if anything, actually, like, community goes away from that nonsense with every another entry, yeah? What the fuck? No one expects honor in an invasion anymore. And people did in the past, it's mostly because, like, of their scrubness, nothing else.
I'm very guilty of that myself. Moving on, though. If you're invading for the thrill of it, maybe you love using your OP items to gank new players. I won't blame you for that. It is what the game is designed for to some extent. These items exist. Invasions exist. No mercy. No rules of engagement. If you're that kind of player, does the reward even matter? Or is it just the rush you presumably get when ganking someone? We have adjacent players to that. Those who think of it as a challenge to overcome. I know that when I invade, I will most likely come up against a group of 3. It makes me feel good when I beat them. It makes me feel accomplished when I win despite the odds being against me. And this is a trickier proposition to design around because it's the player who does it for the love of the game, you might say. They don't need rewards, they don't need incentive, they just enjoy the unique aspects of invasions.
Well, in Elden Ring you have only that.
Which, I will say once again, that is fine if you enjoy that. I used to enjoy that. I do not currently enjoy that. But let's look at it from another potential angle. The invader who is doing it to progress. Of course, Elden Ring has no covenants. No real progression either, if we're being real. That's one of the issues I have with it, and why I call it stagnant. Because nothing about the PvP has really advanced since Dark Souls 2, 10 years ago, and I'm talking in features. Yes, there are more items, there are new movement techs and new abilities to discover and all that. There is a new and constantly shifting meta, but I'm talking features.
Which is not true. The entire formula of how multiplayer is handled was evolving from like a one entry of the game to the another. One of the best argumentations I heard like about how like they approached Dark Souls 3 multiplayer is an idea of tribalism. It's basically you have these multiple of these like not even covenants but just like groups of people that enjoy different type of approach to the game. Some of them like co-oping, some of them like invading, some of them like engaging into activity that allows them to farm something like in form of the covenant, and that creates that tribalism where, for example, you have different people from like a different backgrounds clashing against each other and fighting, like attempting to win, yeah? Like that's why this entire like pontiff in Dark Souls 3, like the entire spot that is pontiff exists because of that tribalism, because you have people that enjoyed ganking, you had people that enjoyed like invading through the covenant, or people that just regularly enjoyed invading, and then all these people were like clashing together to fight against each other. And by sole nature of how like PvP works, people that were like invading through the covenant usually were teaming up with regular invaders in order to like beat gankers, and then because of that you had this dynamic of like a 4 versus 2s, 3 versus 3s, and so on and so forth. Elden Ring went with different approach. It actually tried to simplify multiplayer and they missed the mark. As simple as that.
In some ways it has regressed to a more basic form, albeit...
Yes, it regressed because that's what they wanted. They wanted to regress. Did that like turn out to be actually a correct approach? No, like it turned out that multiplayer is by many considered as a worse experience. They are probably going to actually, well, do something about that in the further entries of Elden Ring, if there will be any.
A smoother one, if not perfect, as the netcode is still pretty janky. And yet...
But it's... Netcode, like, especially if you compare Dark Souls 2 that had the worst netcode in the entire series, in comparison to like Dark Souls 3 or Elden Ring, it improved like fucking crazy. It's just that its netcode is not going to work correctly no matter what if you are going to play against someone from different continent. Some people might bring an argument of like a rollback netcode, yada yada yada, but rollback netcode in fighting games, for example, work because you have only 2 parties that engage into the world presented, and mostly, if not exclusively, against each other, in the meaning that there is no entire world like in Elden Ring, Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 1 that like you have to sync with other players. The approach of regular P2P is probably the best way how you can create a multiplayer experience for a game like Souls, and Elden Ring has very good netcode in comparison to the previous entries. The problem is that like maybe Silvermont is not even aware of that because he plays on PC, and PC has its exclusive issue related to the netcode, which is just a layer of code that like works over regular Steam's P2P that adds the artificial latency. That being said, netcode of Souls games improved dramatically ever since Dark Souls 3.
Yes, many people brought up the netcode is better now than it was in past games. The online PvP is smoother. Yes, but it's still not good enough. That's my point.
What you mean it's not good enough? This is a fight against a gamer. I had like good latency too. I mean regular EU latency, it's not like even super good latency. We have probably around 50 milliseconds to each other. And this is how it looks like. Like, how is that a bad netcode? Everything is extremely fucking readable, everything just fucking works, there is no displacements of the characters, no matter if players like touch each other, like the combat of the game just works correctly. When you're supposed to have priority, you have priority, and what's not. If the latency is low enough, if both players are actually playing on proper net and not some sort of weird fucking dog shit, then this shit just works, and it works well. Yet again, this netcode is good. No fucking netcode is going to work well when you're actually like facing a player from different continent through the P2P. Like, even if you would have like a dedicated servers, there would be like no actual correct way to solve that issue too. It just is like that. Like, international gaming is not working very well.
Even so, let's imagine Elden Ring to...
Okay, there is like a big problem with this type of videos. He is just dropping random ideas, and yes, you can actually just make a shit tons of random ideas, throw them on the table, and hope that something is going to stick, but vast majority of these ideas are just not going to be very engaging. Like, for example, like recently, the most recent one is literally him saying that, oh, like let the spirit summons like fight against each other, and dude, you wouldn't be engaging in that combat. They would need to create a completely new system where you can somewhat like navigate spirit summon by just giving it commands and what's not, because otherwise it would be non-engaging gameplay. He mentions here earlier like the ability to bribe an invader, and this idea like of bribing an invader, okay, it could potentially make sense. Let's say that you want to co-op, and then like I don't know, you have like some sort of the invader's desired item, some sort of like, I don't know, runark equivalent, but actually useful for a change, yeah? And then you offer an invader possibility to get that item and fuck off, yeah? And yeah, that sounds like mechanic that could be fine, yeah? But at the same time, it would probably negatively affect the activity. Furthermore, the idea of an invader is to have an intelligent enemy in the world that is going to enrich your gameplay. It doesn't matter that Scrubs doesn't want to have invader in their world. Invader in their world is still enriching their gameplay. Them being mad at the invader because invader killed them, or like, I don't know, like slowed their progression and what's not, is also an experience. And even if that's negative one, it doesn't mean that like a developer wouldn't want to have like negative experience in their game. Not everything has to be like a fucking like just a beautiful road to the like to becoming the Elden Lord without any struggle whatsoever. It's far from it. Like, if I would be designing a game, I would love to have mechanic like invasions in order to actually piss people off. That would be desired thing to have, and that absolutely makes sense. Still, the modern society has no testosterone. They want to be handheld the entire way. It was always like this, my dude. But, you know, a correct design of the game is not focused around always listening to what a freaking Kevin wants, yeah? Kevin is not aware that these invasions are enriching his experience. And it's fine. Him, like, hating on an invaders is just expected, and it's not bad. Silvermont at the beginning of this yap mentioned group of people that do not want invasions at all. They don't like invasions. Cool, doesn't matter, that's good. Them disliking invasions and not wanting them is fine. Furthermore, it's expected. And I'm pretty sure like people behind like the design decisions of these games expected people to hate on invasions. And that was by design as well. You are invading someone's world, preventing their progress potentially, of course, like being annoyance. Yes, you're not supposed to be loved. It's fine that people don't want you and like the mechanic on its own, and that's even more the reason to keep that mechanic in the game. Like, he had that idea of the Mad Phantoms, and yeah, like Mad Phantoms, like essentially, I don't know, Covenant, where you actually invade someone's world, and you can beat essentially anyone in order to win, yeah? Your win condition is to kill particular amount of people in the invasion, like that being 2 or 3 people or maybe the host, yeah? On paper it works, but yet again, community expects that purple invader to side with red invader. As simple as that. It would be an expectation. That's how it worked in Dark Souls 3, yeah? And you have like a scrap that like would actually potentially go against another red, but that wouldn't be any different than other red scrap going against another red, because reds attack each other. As simple as that. They actually have friendly fire, or not even friendly fire, because technically invaders are not like in any sort of collaboration in the first place, yeah? I don't know, let's go further, dude. Like, vast majority of the ideas that this guy bring is really just insane yap. The guy didn't think it through, and if he did, he is like a typical scrub that just invades from time to time. And this type of people are just usually going to have uninformed takes, and this type of people shouldn't make this type of videos, because this type of videos just by its nature going to be pretty bad. And this video so far is unfortunately bad. It has no substance. It doesn't have like any sort of the insight on like an ideas that he's bringing. The guy is just saying things. It's waste of time for everyone involved. So okay, like I cannot find the original video, so this is like a video of someone else playing so-called Gabri mod. And what I want actually to show here is that this is essentially a mod created by someone from the community before patch 1.10 that made a mod showing how PvP potentially could look like. Alright? So like, for example, like at the beginning you have seen here that like a Gabri made it so that you can strafe thrusting swords, yeah? Why am I even bringing it up? So what we are seeing here is a proof of concept. Something like that has value. The guy, Gabri in this particular case, created entire mod that shows how PvP potentially could look like if certain changes would be applied. So the guy made a mod that proves that like the PvP can be better according to his own vision. Yeah, that's like basically a proper way to approach it from my point of view, yeah? You make actual effort to make a proof of concept that what you're saying has value. Whereas what is this guy doing is he's just yapping. This video is a waste of time so far. I'm sorry, like I really wanted to listen to these ideas and so on, but I have expected at least so the guy would put a little bit more effort than just like say a random idea. And then like mention like further something along the lines, I drop an idea, maybe it's not that good, maybe you guys in the comment section gonna make it better. Like, your video is dog shit, it serves no purpose. At least, I don't know, like, why wouldn't you just try to implement yourself purple phantoms through the modding? You know, modding is no easy thing to do, but you have so many tools in Elden Ring that allows you to mod, and they are like fucking free to use. You can just, I don't know, join like a server named Discord and just download like a modding tools that would allow you to at least like try to make something that you're talking about, to see on your own proof of concept if it can work.
Maybe this solution sucks without seeing it in practice. I have no idea. But
like, dude, maybe this solution sucks without seeing it in practice. I have no idea. It's a summary of this fucking video that's supposed to be good enough information for this guy that like this video in the form how it has been released just shouldn't be released in the first place.
I know what the problems are. PvP lacks tension these days.
How the fuck PvP lacks tension? Dude, if anything, like back in the days of Dark Souls 1, your average invasion was actually against people that just died to one backstab. Dark Souls 2 by design allow you to invade people that are straight up like on minus 50% like HP. Because you could like invade someone that is fully hollowed. How the fuck Elden Ring invasions where one mistake equals death lack tension.
And you might completely disagree with that. You might be someone who started with Elden Ring and you find invasions really tense. They all get your blood pumping, your adrenaline flowing. But for me, it lacks risk, it lacks rewards that are commensurate to the time spent. A lot of times I'm invaded and either it's a very quick setback and it didn't mean anything other than a 20-second run back to where I was, or it drags out for like 30 minutes and becomes tedious in that way. Plenty of people enjoy the invasions in this game, and a dedicated part of the community take the 1v1 dueling aspects extremely seriously too, to the extent they will send you death threats, whether they beat you, whether you beat them, or if you dare to criticize their hobby. But considering these are all parts of the game, they should be catered for to some extent.
This guy really has some sort of the strawman in his head that like there are people that generally doing nothing but being giga toxic online. I swear to God, like where that even came from, it doesn't even make sense in the context of what he was saying a moment ago. Is that like some sort of the unfortunate personal experience that he wants to share with us?
What I'm saying, PvP is a quite popular part of these games. FromSoft should take the time and the budget to invest in it and improve it. That's really all I want at the end of the day. And I do not believe that is a controversial opinion to have.
It's not, but you have to generally start understanding that whereas some of your opinions are fine, or like differently, like let's not sugarcoat it, vast majority of things that you said in this video are pointless. It's just yapping. There is no proof of concept of things that you're saying. You're just bringing some sort of the ideas. That kind of sounds like just a guy that watches a soccer match in front of his TV with a beer in his hand, just talking about how like these guys that like playing the match currently supposed to actually approach things. Yeah, you are sitting there being absolutely like not knowledgeable about the topic and just yapping. You actually get some things right. You actually might understand the main issues related to the Elden Ring PvP. Thing is though, is that you know it only on such a surface level that you are incapable of forming any sort of the reasonable solution. Therefore, your opinion is very meaningless. And at the end, I just hear like trauma dumping because someone sent you a hate mail, dude. Like, what the fuck?
I don't care for invasions these days, but yeah, I do kind of miss the fun I had with it back in the day. I would like to see PvP develop to a point where I actively want to do invasions again, where I...
Dude, nothing in the world is going to convince you to do invasions if you do not have like your own drive for it. You are a fucking geezer that did content for the Souls games 12 years ago. If your approach to invasions is not solely based off the fact that you just want to PvP, then there is nothing that is going to convince you to PvP. You just burnt out of the invasions and that's fine. It's okay. We get bored of things. Some things are just not keeping our attention for the like extended period of time. It's okay to move on. But you expecting the developer to finally do something so you would be interested in PvP is going to like just not work in the slightest. These things that's supposed to convince players to start PvP are there for new people, for new players. Like it's a bait, it's a carrot on the stick for people that didn't experience this type of gameplay before. For people like you, there is no such thing. You're supposed to want to engage into PvP because you like it, and you simply do not like it anymore. And it's okay. And you missing these times, it's a pure nostalgia that you can get back to because you can turn on Dark Souls Remaster, you can actually play Dark Souls 2 and PvP in these games. And you are going to see that you probably do not enjoy it that much anymore.
I feel really excited when they happen, and that can occur. these things can happen. After all, back when Dark Souls 3 came out, I played it, I beat it twice, and I developed extreme Souls fatigue. I wanted like nothing to do with the franchise at that point, as it felt so samey. But Elden Ring came out, and they managed to hook me again. And I hope they can do that with PvP. I'm convinced they can if they actually allocate some time and resources to it. Anyway, this video ended up being a lot longer than I intended it to be, but
yeah, it
anyway,
was.
Thank you so much for watching. Feel
You're
free
welcome.
to share your thoughts down in the comments.
I just
I'll
did.
catch you next time.
Bye.